There are generally not a lot of diversions for the stars to question, and some of the time, even we need to turn to watch through our fingers. Today, we're going to be seeing the 16 of those most cringe moments. Number 16, Dakota Johnson on Ellen. We should begin with one of the later editions of the Cringe Interview Hall of Fame. Things here start on an odd note when Ellen DeGeneres blames her visitor for not welcoming her to a birthday celebration, just for Dakota Johnson to uncover that indeed the entertainer was accepted, she just turned down the deal. "You've been on the show commonly," Ellen fights at a certain point. "Don't I show that I like you?" At a certain point towards the end, Dakota jokes that the meeting is not working out in a good way, and even jokes about leaving the stage totally. At the end of the day, they figure out how to get things in the groove again. Number 15, Fern Britton on This Morning. Furthermore, discussing law solicitations, Fern Britton was not impressed when she felt she'd been snubbed from a BAFTA occasion celebrating this morning's achievements and surprisingly faced Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby about it live on air. The column ultimately got over onto online media, so all things considered, it began that her family got the welcome yet didn't give it to Fern, expecting she wouldn't have needed to go. Number 14, Mark Wahlberg on The Graham Norton Show. Mark Wahlberg bothered numerous watchers during his Graham Norton appearance in 2013 when he over and again intruded on fellow guest Sarah Silverman in the middle of an anecdote. At one point, he rose from the couch and sat on the host's lap to get excessively private with him. Graham said of the meeting years after the fact, "I believe it's something like that when you wrap up drinking, that isn't the drunkest you will be. You understand when you return home, oh, I'm drunker than when I left the bar. I think there was a bit of a time lapse and he became extremely drunk." Number 13, Joan Rivers on CNN. The late Joan Rivers met about her new book in 2014. She took issue when she felt the questioner was posing excessively on the genuine side. In the long run, the comedian stomped off totally. Final irritation will be tolerated when she has gotten some information about her decision to wear a hide on the front of her book. Joan later disclosed to The Hollywood Reporter the CNN questioner was a journalist and not an amusement correspondent. She didn't appear to comprehend we were discussing a parody book and not the records from the Nuremberg trial. Each question was an accusatory one intended to put me on edge. Number 12, Cara Delevingne on Good Day Sacramento. Things began to plunge ahead of schedule into this particular meeting for Cara Delevingne's film Paper Town in 2015 when the host called the model turned entertainer Carla before she had even said a word. Ultimately, the moderators on Good Morning Sacramento cut the meeting off themselves after noticing that Carla appeared less invigorated than she had in ongoing trades and a bit disturbed. After the meeting turned into a web sensation, Cara proposed that her British mockery had been lost in interpretation. Number 11, Jesse Eisenberg on Say My Name with Romina. It's difficult to pinpoint the most horrifying second here. Is it when Jesse Eisenberg tells moderator Romina Puga that she's on his time? Or then again, maybe when he seems to dislike her joke about him having a fat thumb? Possibly it's the everlasting line, "I said your name into the camera, what else do you need?" before the frostiest sleight of hand execution we've apparently seen at any point. Number 10, Avril Lavigne on Pop World. Pop World was known for its disrespectfulness when it came to interviews, yet apparently Avril's kin neglected to refer to this to her when she plunked down on the couch. Number 9, Madonna on The Late Show with David Letterman. The Queen of Pop's appearance on David Letterman's television show in 1994 came when her validity was at a low second, and this meeting certainly didn't improve the situation. She dropped the F-bomb so often the host was noticeably stunned. This event was before going to request him to smell her clothes and ask if he was a fan of peeing in the shower. Over 10 years on, Madonna was later accused of smoking a joint minutes before going to an audience for her conduct. Number 8, Peter Andre on Sky News. Converse with me about the tour. Poor timing implied Peter Andre was reserved to be met on Sky News the day after his ex, Katie Price, hitched Alex Reed. What's more, he unquestionably didn't appreciate being tested with regards to the chance of the cage fighter adopting his children. The enthusiastic vocalist in the end cut the meeting off, revealing to Kay Burley, I'd prefer to stop this in case that is okay. Number 7. Lady Gaga on Friday night with Jonathan Ross. Lady Gaga gave one of her first UK interviews with Jonathan Ross at a time she was rising as perhaps the most outstanding star on the planet, yet the visit wasn't by and large going great. The host didn't know what to think about Gaga, tasting tea and talking in a quiet voice. However, he wasn't without blame. He posed tired request. A fast Google search would handily offer the response and get some information about the frequently repeated gossip that she had a penis. She disregarded the remark with a joke, however it was still probably not how Gaga had wanted to dispatch herself in the UK. Number 6. Russell Brand on Morning Joe. The weight here kicks in at around the 4:45 imprint when a conversation about Russell's pronunciation develops into him blaming the morning moderators for relaxed typification. Is this how you all help a living? He addressed before proceeding to shoot their awful habits as they talked about him over and over as though he weren't finding a seat at the table. Most would agree this will not be launching Russell's morning meal TV profession over in the States. Number 5. Dakota Johnson on the Oscars red carpet. One more appearance from Dakota Johnson, yet by and by we'd argue the cringiness here isn't her fault. Having as of now been presented as Melanie Griffith's daughter, Dakota was not happy visiting about her hot 50 Shades scenes before her mom, who demands it would be bizarre for her to watch the film when pushed on the issue by the host. Number 4. Robert Downey Jr. on Channel 4 News. And keeping in mind that we're regarding the matter of walkouts, Robert Downey Jr. made quite possibly the most emotional walkouts ever in 2015 when he disagreed with Krishnan Guru Murthy getting some information about his past battles with enslavement. The Iron Man star later marked Krishnan as a syphilitic parasite, expressing, "I'm one of those folks who I'm continually expecting the social sort of respectability is in play and that we're advancing a hero film. A lot of children will see it and this steers clear of your frightening dim plan that I'm feeling out of nowhere like embarrassed and committed to oblige your weirdo crap." Number 3. Quentin Tarantino on Channel 4 News. Shockingly, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't the first occasion that Krishnan Guru Murthy had vexed a big name with his line of addressing. A long time prior, he got on some unacceptable side of movie chief Quentin Tarantino during this meeting about Django Unchained. At the point when the writer recommended a connection between film savagery and genuine brutality, Tarantino demanded, "I reject your inquiry. I'm not my slave and you're not my lord. You can't make me follow your lead. I'm saying I decline." Tarantino then, at that point, proposed the meeting is just a business for his film, expressing, "It's none of your damn business, my opinion on that." Number 2. S Club on Liquid News. How about we talk about money? The incident happened when S Club was given some information about their accounts by a pre-Strictly and maybe much more oddly pre-Periphery Claudia Winkleman. Spoiler alert, it turns out poorly. Number 1. Meg Ryan on Parkinson. Conceivably, the OG of abnormal meetings, Michael Parkinson and Meg Ryan didn't attempt to shroud their contempt during this meeting, with the "You've Got Mail" star later guaranteeing that the host had acted disapprovingly towards her. "I don't have the foggiest idea about the man," she disclosed to Mary Claire. "That person resembled some opposing dad. It's insane. I don't have the foggiest idea what he is to you folks, yet he's a nut. I felt like he was criticizing me for being stripped in the film. He said something like, 'You ought to return to what you were doing.' Furthermore, I thought, would you say you resemble an opposing father at this moment? You do not identify me. Ease off, pal." I was so irritated by him. So, that's all for this video, guys. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. Until next time, stay tuned to our channel for more amazing videos.